All right, welcome to the live stream. Today I will be live streaming, just looking for day trading setups in the market. I'm gonna wait for a few people to show up here. I haven't done a live stream on YouTube in quite a long time. We do the private live stream forecast every Sunday, but as far as public live streams, I have not done one in quite a bit. So bear with me here. It's gonna be a little slow at first. What's up, Shaikh? I'm not sure how to say that. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Nice to see you as well. We're going to be looking at day trading setups, mostly on like the 1 minute or the 5 minute chart, maybe even the 15 minute as well. So I basically am going to have this chart out, and then this is my main chart link, and then I will have this chart as well. This will be more for day trading setups. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you don't mind. I'm a little flustered right now. I just want to make sure that everything's good to go, and I want to make sure I can find the best market. So first thing I'm going to do is look at the dollar here, and basically what I'm going to be looking for day trading setups. If we're entering on the 1 minute or the 5 minute chart, I want to see which pairs have a 1 hour uptrend. So right now we have oil. I'm going to mark it purple. Oil's looking decent. Gold is also looking decent. Euro not really looking great for day trading setups right now. Natural gas is, so I'm going to mark that as purple. And basically why I'm marking the trend is because, in my opinion, if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know that I think that day trading with the trend is much better, in my opinion. So that's why I want to be looking for the trend. And the reason I just marked USD JPY is if we blow up this 4 hour chart right here, you can clearly see we are in this 4 hour demand. And if you guys did watch my last forecast, my public forecast, we talked about how we could be looking for potential day trading setups in here, and I'm seeing this 50-minute supply zone, and I would like to see this supply zone removed before we just hop in long. So that's why I am marking out the USD yen like that, and I'm going to keep going here. The pound not looking great, not much on the CAD. Not too much here on the Aussie. I'm just going through all of the markets right now. We have 10 people in here. Let me know who's in here, and remember, make sure you hit that like button to get more people involved in the live stream. I plan on doing this week, just today and then Wednesday. So hopefully you guys will tune in. All right, so I definitely marked out the ones that I think are the best fit. You can go to the USD yen, and I'm just going to mark out some of the demand zones that I had. And I'm gonna this link is gonna be a little bit sloppy here. So one thing I like about natural gas, if we look at natural gas here, we have let me get my drawing tool out as well. We basically have a 4 hour and a 1 hour uptrend. Now the problem with this on natural gas is there is one problem with potentially day trading long here. Yes, we do have 4 hour and 1 hour uptrends, so day trading long is fine, but if we blow up the weekly chart here, you can clearly see we are in this very significant weekly supply zone. So getting in long in this would make me a little bit nervous. What's up, Andil? How's it going? Watching from South Africa. Nice. Awesome. So that's why natural gas wouldn't really be the best pair to be getting in long. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we want to be trading with the trend, and that's why, I think that trading with the trend is definitely the best option. If you guys want to look at anything either, just please let me know, and I can look at any chart and see, what we're looking at. So I am a little flustered, like I said, because I haven't live streamed in I don't even know, maybe a year. I don't remember when the last live stream was, but I know a lot of people were tuning in back then, and then I kind of stopped. So yeah, it might be a slow day in the markets as well. And if you remember in my public forecast on the British pound, I did talk about this 4 hour area of supply. I said we could be looking for a confirmation trade to coming off of that 4 hour supply. So let's see what happened here on the 15-minute chart. So if we look at this right here, we kind of did get confirmation here. I'm pretty sure in the public forecast, I talked about this area right here of 15-minute demand. I said I want to see that removed, and it was removed, and it was removed by this supply zone. Obviously, if he took this supply zone, price blew right through. But I personally would not have taken this supply zone for a few reasons, and here's why. If you look at this area here where the basing was for supply, you can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. So there's 8 candles in that basing, which means, in my opinion, it's not really good basing. And another reason I think that this trade didn't work out is because this is a high in price. If you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of rally-based rally demand zones, or I'm a huge fan of drop-based drop supply zones. I'm not a fan of peak and valley supply and demand zones where so basically rally-based drop or drop-based rally. I'm not a fan of those zones. So I don't take zones like this for supply, and I don't take zones like this for demand unless it's like super higher time frame. I'm not really going to get into it, but hopefully that makes sense. So I personally wouldn't have taken that one based on that. And so now on the pound, we are currently pushing up. We still are in weekly supply on the pound here, but at the end of the day, we're not really getting any 4-hour confirmation. And what we would need now for a 4-hour confirmation is we would need to see this. We still have 50 minutes left. We would need to see this candle close up here, and then we'll have 4-hour demand here. And then at that point, if we break that 4-hour demand, leaving us with this 4-hour supply, then we could potentially trade in that 4-hour area of demand, 4-hour area of supply. Toga, CAD, Swiss, buy. What time frame? That is very important too. If you guys want to send me a chart to look at, I have absolutely no problem with that. But what I need you guys to do as well is let me know what time frame you're going to enter on, because that is very, very important. Because CAD Swiss could be a buy on a 1-minute chart, but it doesn't mean it's a buy on like a 4-hour chart, right? So I need to understand what time frame that you guys are looking at before I make a decision. And as far as the CAD Swiss goes right now, I don't see it as a buy right now based on really any of my time frames. Let's go over to the day trading chart here. CAD Swiss. So if I'm looking at this 1-hour chart, not seeing a lot. The 15-minute chart, I don't really want to call this a downtrend. It's just, in my opinion, a proper trend looks something like this, where we have very clear, like that. I don't like to call a trend like this. That is momentum. I would definitely agree that is momentum. But at the end of the day, I don't really like it. So no, I would not say CAD Swiss is a buy. Definitely not a buy. If anything, on like a 5-minute chart or 1-minute chart, it probably would be a sell based on this trend. Chromance, how's it going? Andile, Euro Swiss, minute 15. Let's take a look. Let's look at the Euro Swiss on my chart link here. Okay, so I have I'm missing a bunch of drawings here, but that's okay. I don't track Euro Swiss on a daily basis. So as far as Euro Swiss goes now, 15-minute chart, we'd have to be on the 4-hour chart. And if I blow up the 4-hour chart here, it's kind of just all over the place. Yes, we do have some peaks and valleys here. But as far as trading this on the 15-minute goes, I'm not liking it. Let's go over to the Euro Swiss on this chart here. So on the 15-minute chart, there's really no trends. So for me to be trading this one, I personally don't like it. I would rather see a 4-hour, maybe if price was in a 4-hour demand zone. We are actually reacting off of this supply zone here. So yes, okay. So let's base the trade off of this. We have 4-hour supply right here, and we reacted perfectly off of the 4-hour supply. So now at that point, we could be looking for 15-minute confirmation trades. And if you look here, let me just draw a few things out. We had demand here, and this isn't like super qualified demand, but I'm going to call it demand. We had demand here, we had demand here, and now we are left with this supply, but it's pretty poor quality in my opinion. So there is a 15-minute supply zone here. It could work. I personally wouldn't be putting my money on this trade based on there really not being a 4-hour trend. So like I said, I always like to trade with the trend. So there is this 15-minute supply zone here. The problem with that, like I said, there's no trend. This zone is very poor quality. As you can see, there's a bunch of candles up here. It's kind of a stair-stepping down pattern. So at that point, I wouldn't really be trading it. But what you could do is you could then use this 15-minute supply zone as your curve, your higher time frame, and then you could actually go down to a 1 minute time frame. Let me just start that. So what you could be doing is waiting for this this 15-minute supply zone to be hit, and then once it does, we could look for a 1 minute potential confirmation trade to the downside, and at that point, I think it would be all right. We'll have to, come back to that later, Andal. So let me know if you have. Let me know later if you're seeing anything on the 1 minute chart, if you're going to be monitoring that one, and I'll see what we have. As far as other setups go, I'm not really seeing a whole lot right now. Gold is looking pretty strong, but what I'm waiting for on gold here, a little bit more of a higher time frame perspective, is I'm waiting for possibly another shoot up in gold, leaving us with daily demand right here, and then looking to get involved trading long in that daily demand on gold. So that's what I would rather wait to see for on gold. I don't know what pairs you guys trade. Let me know in the comments down below what pairs you guys are trading. Do you guys trade multiple pairs for day trading, or do you usually stick to one? In my opinion, I don't really day trade. I'm more doing this for you guys. I actually, on my broker, I've used the same broker since I started trading, and I have not switched brokers. My broker, it's basically impossible to day trade the 1 minute on my broker because of the spreads. So that's why I really don't day trade. And even if I had a good broker that had, good spreads, or if I was paying for spreads, I don't know if I would day trade anyways, based on, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like coming to the computer and sticking to the computer all day. That's why I'd rather swing trade. But it doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't day trade. I'm just expressing how I personally feel about day trading. So hopefully that makes sense. And remember, if you guys have any questions, just please comment down below and I will respond to everybody. And hope all of you guys are doing well. So I'm kind of just waiting on you guys to tell me what you want to look at. And as always, I will be giving my brutally honest opinion on everything. If I don't see a setup, I will not say that there's a setup. I'm not going to be like most of these YouTubers on here that says, oh, there's always a setup here, there's always a setup there. I don't really believe in that. I think that it's definitely better to be patient most of the time. So oil's looking pretty good. I don't know if anybody trades oil here, but what I would be looking for on oil is, if you look, okay, so we have a 4-hour uptrend on oil, a 1-hour uptrend on oil. But what I would rather see on the 50-minute chart is something like this. Actually, let me just go to the 4-hour. So we have a confirmed uptrend on the 4-hour chart here. We also have that 1-hour uptrend, and then the 1-hour demand is also in control down here. So that doesn't mean that we could be getting in long right now, but what I'd want to see is this high on oil removed. So if we hop down to a 15-minute chart, so with supply and demand trading, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there are 4 time frames. So if we are going to be entering on a 50-minute chart, we would prefer to see a 4-hour uptrend and a 1-hour uptrend as well, but also the entry time frame uptrend as well, which is the 15-minute chart. But at this point, we have the 4-hour, the 1-hour uptrend, but the 15-minute is sideways, as you can see here. So what I would like to see is this high removed. So whatever price this is at, I can't really see. Okay, so 93.284. Once this high is removed, we will have the 15-minute uptrend. And then any 15-minute demand zones that, were responsible for moving this high or along the way, you could use those as your day trading charts. Euro USD. What time frame? Oops. I need to know what time frame we are looking at before we make a decision. Michael Westberg, pound US dollar. Okay, guys, I have no problem with you guys, telling me what to look at. I have absolutely no problem with that. That's why I'm here. I just need to know what time frame you want to enter on. If you want to enter on the 1 minute, tell me. If you want to enter on the 5 minute, tell me. If you want to enter on the daily chart, you need to tell me. So it just helps me better, break things down. So I'll wait for you guys to let me know. 4 hours. So you want to enter on the 4-hour, and you said the Euro US dollar. Okay. So if you want to enter on the 4-hour in the US dollar, it is a little bit confusing right now. I'm not sure, Anthony, if you watched my public forecast that I just did on Friday, but we have a weekly downtrend on the Euro US dollar. So essentially, we'd rather be getting in short to trade with that downtrend. Okay, 4 hour, 15 minute. Okay, sorry, I thought you meant 4 hour. So you want to be entering on the 15-minute chart. Well, the only thing I really see here on the euro, I don't see any quality supply up here. I don't think that this supply would work. We do have this 4 hour demand zone up here. So if price does pull back to here, you could look for longs. As far as trading it now goes, I don't know if I would just be entering on a 15-minute chart, but if you want, we can look at some potential 15-minute demand zones. We do have a 15-minute uptrend, so at that point, you could be trading like a 1-minute chart to continue to trade with the trend. There is a 15-minute demand zone here, but I'm not liking it, and I don't really see, whenever we have a 15-minute uptrend, we don't want to be trading short. That is just my honest opinion. And then Michael Westbrook as well, pound US dollar 15-minute chart. Let's take a look. So let's go over to here. So kind of the same idea. We are in weekly supply, so I don't really feel comfortable getting in long. But as far as the 15-minute chart goes here in the pound, we do have that uptrend. So as far as trading it goes now, I don't see any demand in this area. There is demand down here, but if you've been watching since the beginning, I don't really like to trade those areas of demand that are like a drop base rally. So what I would like to see here on the pound, and we can definitely follow up, I will be live streaming for at least 2 hours probably. What I would like to see is a potential new 15-minute demand formed up here. I think that would be a much higher odd situation. So hopefully we can get some basing and a push up and then a pullback. Helio Group, what's going on? Euro pound long 1 hour. First, let's take a look at my main chart link. And remember, guys, if you guys are new to my channel, if you don't know, if you want this main chart link that I track all the supply and demand zones on, check out the description down below. And you can get my daily chart analysis because I won't be live every day. So euro pound long 1 hour. So for entering on the 1 hour chart, we need to be looking at the daily chart first. So in my opinion, this daily chart is very unclear. I have no idea where this is going. It's very, very difficult to tell where it's going. So as far as the 1 hour chart goes now, we do have this 1 hour demand zone down here, but since there's no trend on the daily chart, I think that the best thing to do is wait for this 1 hour to be hit, and then if you want to get in long, you could be looking for day trading longs on a 5-minute chart. That is all I see here on the Euro GBP, and that is just my honest opinion. Because there's no trends, it's just very difficult to tell. Yes, we are in some sort of demand right here on the 1 hour, but I don't really suspect that will hold. That is just my honest opinion. Euro USD is at the upper edge of 4 hour resistance. Can we look for 50-minute short? Euro USD's upper edge of 4 hour resistance. I don't know. I don't trade support and resistance. I don't really think that it's the greatest strategy of all time or anything. If that's how you trade, I mean, I'm not going to say it's incorrect. If that's how you trade, then that's how you trade. If you want to look for, all I will say is if you want to look for a short on the Euro USD, it's going to be difficult to get. In my opinion, the most minimum thing I'd be looking for on the Euro USD for a short is to remove this pivot low. And then if we're left with 15-minute supply at that point, you could potentially short. That's all I see here on the Euro US dollar. And this is the problem that I had with live day trading last time, is that most of the time I don't see anything, and then people don't really like that, and they want to always be told there's a setup, and there just really isn't. So can you look at USD Mexican? Yep. What time frame? What time frame do you want me on? What time frame do you want to enter on? That's my question for you. I wouldn't be trading this one. I'll say it straight away. It's just so choppy. There's really not too much going on. Weekly demand is in control, so I don't really want to be getting in short. But then also we have a daily downtrend, 4 hour and 1 hour downtrend. So actually, shorts on lower time frames would be completely fine in my opinion. On like a 1 minute, 1 hour, you want to enter on a 1 hour. Okay, so first of all, with the 1 hour chart, when we're entering, we do have a daily downtrend here. So if you're going to be entering the USD Mexican, we would rather be looking for shorts. So as far as shorts go, I am not seeing a whole lot. There was supply here. There's supply here. As far as I can tell, that's all I see. If we can get another red candle here in the next 2 hours or so, then at that point we would have potential 1 hour supply right here, and then you could look to trade that. But as of now, I don't see any setups on the 1 hour chart. That's all I'd be waiting for here, is waiting for a pullback to that supply, if that is supply. Remember, I'm a supply and demand trader. That is my main, that is how I trade. So you can take that, and that's why a lot of people are members on my YouTube channel or my Patreon, because then they can use my zones like this, like I'm showing you here on this daily chart. Maybe they don't trade supply and demand, but they like the idea of a supply zone, and then maybe they trade their strategy, whether it's support and resistance or whatever it is, and then they can trade their strategy as price contacts my supply. So that's why I'm just explaining that you don't have to trade supply and demand, but if you ask me a question, I will base it revolving around supply and demand. Star Lewis, what's going on? US 30. What time frame? Helio, pound Aussie short, 1 hour. Okay, let's take a look. I know I'm not a huge fan of the pound Aussie, how it looked. That is one pair that we go over in the private live streams. Short 1 hour. Yeah, I wouldn't be getting in short on the pound Aussie, I'll tell you right now. Here's why. We have a daily demand zone in control right now. Now, I think that shorts could be fine eventually, because if you look at this overall weekly chart, the momentum is clearly down. Like if you look at the overall picture, the momentum is down. But then when you really start to zoom in here, you can clearly see we broke a supply zone. We did lose momentum here. So that's why we are seeing kind of a push up in the pound Aussie. So as far as trading this one goes now, we have a daily demand zone in control. So I don't want to be getting in short, and that's why we are seeing that green candle, in my opinion. So for shorts, what I would rather see is this daily demand removed first before we get in short on the pound Aussie. And even looking at the 1 hour chart, we've lost momentum here. We did have a 1 hour supply zone here, which broke, and then it left us with this 1 hour demand. So to be very clear, I don't like it for shorts, although there is a 4 hour supply zone here. If anything, if you'd like to day trade, I forget who asked that, Helio Group. If you like to day trade, there is this 4 hour supply zone. Yes, daily demand is in control, so this 4 hour supply zone is definitely low odds. But if you want, you could be on a 15-minute chart looking for shorts coming off of that. And if you want, you can write in the comments down below, and I can look at the 15-minute chart for you. But as far as entering on the 1 hour goes, since momentum is clearly up and we're breaking supply zones, I want to see this 1 hour demand zone removed first, and then if we're left with a 1 hour supply zone, then you could look to trade that 1 hour supply zone. But I think entering on a 1 hour supply zone right now is definitely very, very risky and pretty low odds. Simply why are smartest in YouTube Forex? I'm not really sure what you mean. Simply why are smartest? I don't know what simply why is. Money sex, thanks. USD Mexican is very choppy for swings, but it's good for intraday. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. It's definitely very choppy. If you look at it again here, yeah, it's just very choppy for intraday stuff. But yeah, as far as day trading it goes, I think it's fine. Go to this chart and look at it here. Whoa, what is this? So as far as intraday goes, yeah, I think it's fine for intraday. If you look here, we had a 15-minute supply zone work pretty good. So that would have been a nice little intraday trade right there, and that would have been fine. But right now, I'm really not seeing a whole lot. Maybe on the 1 minute chart. I mean, we did have a 1 minute supply work pretty well right here. And hopefully these are the setups that I can, find for you guys on here. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on YouTube, so remember, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. We got 20 people in here, only 6 likes. Would appreciate if we could at least get like 15 or something. That'd be awesome. It just helps the channel grow, get more people involved in the live stream, and then at that point, I could be going live much more. And the big question this week is, where will the US dollar go? And we have the midterm elections coming up. I think it's Wednesday. So that'll be very significant for the US dollar. I'm not going to get into politics here. It doesn't really matter if you're left or right or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm sure will have an effect on the market. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And remember, we have weekly demand in control here on the US dollar. So and with a weekly uptrend, so in my opinion, it's probably going to continue to go up. But if you look at the daily chart here, it's just kind of going sideways. So we're clearly struggling to break this daily supply. So at that point, it's very, very confusing. It's a very, very confusing time. What I wrote in the private Discord group to my members is that, if you guys have been losing trades the last couple weeks, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Price is kind of all over the map. It's very, very confusing time to be trading right now. So if you don't have a lot of experience, I don't really blame people for, potentially losing trades this week, kind of based on that. So, but if you are new to my channel, I much prefer to trade with the trend. I think that's one of the most, if there's anything I've learned trading Forex, it's that trading with the trend is always the best thing to be doing. For a great example is the USD yen. The USD yen has been on such a strong uptrend, and if you go back and watch all my forecasts on YouTube, they're all available to the public. Every single time I've went over the USD yen, I've talked about how we need to be looking for longs. And then if you look at the Forex sentiment the whole time, if you look at the Forex sentiment here, you come over to USD yen, retail traders have been majority short. And right now they're only 66% short, but the whole time they were like 80% short on the USD yen, trying to trade against that trend. And I don't get it. I don't get why everyone was trying to short the USD yen. I watched a couple other YouTubers Forex forecasts, and they were talking about getting in short on the USD yen. And I get it, right? You want to be, it's been on such a big move up. Maybe the RSI is saying oversold or whatever, or sorry, overbought. And then we want to catch the down move, right? And those down moves are there. But if you look at this uptrend here, are there down moves? Yes, there's a down move here. There's a down move here. So yes, the down moves are definitely possible. But if you look, how much profit would you have made holding a long position versus holding a short position? That is another very important factor when considering, whether we're going to be trading with the trend or against the trend. And remember, if you're trading against the trend, it's very important to maybe use like lower risk than what you usually would. So I'll kind of wait for you guys. Let me know what you want me to look at here. Maybe the stream isn't going super great, but I'm trying my best here. So USD Swiss not looking great. Natural gas, we are kind of pushing up on natural gas. I do have a zone to update here. Let me go over to natural gas on this chart. Yeah, so natural gas, I'm not seeing, I don't know if anybody even trades natural gas. I'm probably wasting my time talking about it. I don't know if anybody even trades it. But clearly the momentum is dying down on the lower time frame. So if you look here on the 1 minute chart, this is just a fantastic 1 minute uptrend. And if you look, we clearly broke the trend. So at this point in this area here, I want to be trading in long. And it doesn't mean that it's always going to work, right? But eventually this trend will end. But if you took a trade and the trend ended, it's whatever, right? It's fine. But then at that point, what we need to see is we need to start to see the 1 minute start to trend up again. And then at that point, we can start to get in long around there. And this isn't just for natural gas. This is for basically any chart that you guys could think of too. That's how I kind of base my trading, and I think it's, in my opinion, it's the highest odds thing to be doing most of the time. So oil is looking the most promising this morning, in my opinion. We just need to wait. Hopefully we can get that push up. But the problem with oil too is we are about to contact this daily supply. This is the complicated part of trading, right? Cactus, the drawing tool you're using, what is it called? Are you referring to this one? Like my actual pen, Cactus? If so, that is called the Epic Pen, I believe, yeah. Give me 2 seconds, guys, I'll be right back. Yeah, that is called the Epic Pen. So as far as day trading goes, there's always a few options here. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of setups, so I don't mind going in and talking about day trading a little bit. So here on oil, we had a pretty good example where for day trading, you can either look for set and forget trades, where you're just basically placing an order on your entry time frame, waiting for it to be hit, and hopefully it goes your profit. Or you could be looking for confirmation trades. If you look here, we had our higher time frame demand, which is 1 hour. And then when price came down to this 1 hour demand zone, we could have looked for a 5-minute confirmation trade. So let's go down to the 5-minute chart and see what happened. And in my opinion, there was absolutely no confirmation. What you don't want to see when looking for confirmation trades is a huge red candle down like that. Because why? Because that means that there's no basing structures for potential supply to be removed before we get in long. So there really was no potential setup here. What you could have been doing is potentially looking for longs if price came down to this area, but it's just, I don't know, I'm just trying to explain to you guys the different ways to look for confirmation, but it's never a good sign to see a sharp move down when looking for confirmation. Mellow Journey. Hey, I just got here. I'm looking at possible longs on EU. Okay, let's take a look. EU at 0.99364. 364. Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing, I trade supply and demand. I don't know if you're new to my channel. What I'm seeing is this potential 1 hour demand zone right here. Yeah, I think you could look for longs in there. I think that would be fine. And if that's, you know, if you have a plan, it's never wrong to have a trading plan and then trade it. So in my opinion, I think it's fine. And if you look here, the euro FX sentiment, most people are short. So retail, to get the exact number, the majority of retail traders are 65% short on the euro US dollar. So I think it's actually a decent time to be looking for longs based on that. And if you look at gold, wow, just notice this now, 84% short on gold. So in my opinion, I think gold is going to go on a little bit of a rally here in the next couple, maybe this whole week. Helio Group, Euro Aussie short, 15-minute charts. Okay, let's take a look. Just give me 2 seconds here, guys. Just want to post something on my Instagram. I'm going to post my Instagram, let everyone know that we are live. Try to get more people here, so bear with me here for a moment. Would appreciate it. If you guys do have Instagram, check me out there. I did like one of those Ask Me Anything things the other day, so that was kind of exciting. Got a lot of questions. So Euro Aussie short 15-minute. Yeah, so right away I'm noticing, I think that you're looking for shorts on a 15-minute chart is fine. The only problem, like I said, with the pound Aussie, it's very similar, is daily demand is in control. So I think we could definitely start to see a move up, but if you want to stick with that plan, that's fine. We have 4-hour supply and a 4-hour downtrend in control right now. So I think looking for shorts is fine. As far as setups go, we had this demand and we had supply up here. So that would have been, this 15-minute supply up here would have been a decent area to look for shorts. And it might even be decent now because there is kind of a high right here. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the Euro Aussie. As far as trading it now goes, if price continues to push down, what I would be looking at is this 15-minute demand zone that we just reacted off of. If we can get this 15-minute supply removed, 15-minute demand removed, any 15-minute supply here would be decent to trade in short. And I'm very interested to see actually what retail positioning is on here. So let's take a look. I probably have to add it. Ooh, what was it again? Euro Aussie. Okay, let me try to find it here. And if you guys aren't using this tool, I think it's a great tool. It doesn't always work as planned, but in my opinion, it definitely helps aid you in your trading. Because remember, guys, no offense to anybody, but we want to be we want to be doing what others are not doing. Euro Aussie, it's basically 50-50 on Euro Aussie, but I think looking for shorts coming off of that 4-hour supply is a good idea. But just remember, I'd maybe use half risk, because on the bottom left screen we have a daily demand in control right now. So I don't think that it's a super duper good idea. That is just my honest opinion. What was I gonna do here on YouTube? So yeah, I'll kind of just wait for you guys. We'll be hanging out. If you guys have any questions, remember, just ask away and I will respond. There are some things that I can't go into super detail about legally, I guess, but it's kind of why I stopped going live. But hopefully I will go live probably Wednesday as well. I do not plan on doing this every day. I don't want to, like I said, I'm not even really a day trader. I much prefer swing trading. So that's why I don't plan on doing this a lot. So this is more, for you guys. So it should be a slow day. I'm not sure what's going on Wednesday, but Wednesday I think will be more of it should be a quicker moving day in my opinion. Give me 2 seconds here. Kind of just waiting for you guys to, let me know what you want me to look at. I can only talk by myself so much, so hopefully you guys understand that. Jeez. Remember, if you guys do want my chart analysis, or if you want to get involved in the private Discord group or whatever, check out the links in the description down below. It should all be there. I will maybe post a link to the Patreon and the YouTube right now in the thing. And that just helps support the channel. I mean, if I was getting enough support on this channel, like really like a lot of support, I would probably go live every day for you guys. Kind of just do that. I don't know. That was a terrible message I just sent. What am I doing? So that's why I have that. It just helps support the channel. And if you guys want, there's the YouTube membership as well, where you can get how much are your zones? Just for the zones, it's only $5 CAD a month. It's like 16 cents a day or something. I try to make it, as cheap as possible. $5 is as low as I'm gonna go for that. What are my thoughts on US30? Let's take a look. You can get my zones there, or you can become a YouTube member as well. So US30, let's take a look. So yeah, I was looking at US30 in the private live streams on Sunday for the members, and I'm pretty sure I was saying it's kind of a complicated time right now. If you look at a weekly chart, the overall weekly momentum and trend is down. We did break this kind of selling area here. I'd rather look for shorts, but I'm just not really seeing any evidence of shorts. We did lose momentum on the 4-hour chart, and we reacted off of this 4-hour supply zone pretty good, but clearly price is starting to push up again. So it's it is a very confusing time, I will admit. I don't want to be getting in long just yet. What I'd rather see, for me, I'm a very conservative trader. So it doesn't mean that I'm just going to get in long, right? For me to be getting in long on the US30, I would need to see extremely higher time frame demands, and it would be more of an investment position. So if I was trading this one, I don't feel comfortable getting in long. Why? Because of this weekly downtrend we have. So what I would need to see, and this would take a long time to play out, but this is the reality of trading, is I would need to see something like this, where we remove this downward trend line and this supply, and then hopefully we're left with a weekly demand zone here. And then if we're patient enough, we wait for this weekly demand to be hit. And then at that point, we look for longs in this area, and we're getting a great buying opportunity. Now, you might be asking, well, we're right at the area where you want the weekly demand to be in right now. So why don't you just get in long right now? And I get it, but I need to see evidence that all of this stuff will be removed first before we get in long. That is just how I've shaped my trading. And, it's worked out pretty well for me, and that's why I stick to that. I think jumping the gun too early is never really a great idea. So hopefully that makes sense, and that's probably why a lot of people were never really tuning into my live stream a lot, back in the day, because, I'm a very, very patient person as far as trading goes. Maybe not in my normal life, but I always think it's the best thing to do. Now there is a daily supply zone here, so I think looking for So there is daily supply here. The overall trend is down. So if you wanted to trade in this 4-hour supply, I think that that'd be fine. The problem with this 4-hour supply is, as you can see, drawing it was definitely difficult. I had to think about it for a minute because we had a huge wick through it. But you could have looked for 50-minute shorts coming off of this 4-hour supply. So those are my thoughts on US 30. I actually think a lot of the other, like the S&P, is looking a little bit more clear, in my opinion. And there actually is, I don't really want to call this supply, but we're going to call that supply for now. So the S&P is actually looking better for shorts, in my opinion. So right now, if you're an investor, if you like to invest in the stock market long term, I think it's a great time to be, just buying, getting in long, right? As far as, averaging down in your position, because if we're at the high, that's definitely the high, right? Yeah, it's definitely the high. So right now, if you were to get in long just right now at this day, you'd be getting a 21% discount on the S&P 500. So I think it's a fantastic time to be buying for an investment position, averaging down in your positions. But as far as trading it goes, I don't think getting in long is a great idea, because obviously when we're trading we have a stop loss. Starsky, what's going on? U.S. oil 15-minute sell. I think you mean. No, I don't see this as a sell. If you want to be selling oil, the problem with that is on a 15-minute chart, your higher time frame is usually the 4-hour or the 1-hour chart, and we have a 4-hour uptrend and a 1-hour uptrend. So no, I would not suggest selling oil on a 15-minute chart. For me to be selling oil on a 15-minute chart, I really see almost nothing that would spike my interest in selling. Yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea to be selling oil on a 50-minute chart right now. Maybe on like a 1-minute, maybe, but even then it's a little bit risky, and that is just my honest opinion. There's no reason for me to be selling this. Yes, there was supply right here, and it worked out pretty good, but I personally do believe we will see oil continue to rise. And you might be asking, why do you think that? Where do you get these ideas from? Well, it's just all of my, I don't know, it's by the show of hands, does anybody watch my Forex forecast here on YouTube? Because there's a lot of names in here I don't recognize. So that's why I'm asking. If you've been watching my forecast on YouTube, I will always say I believe this is going to continue up or whatever. And you might be asking how I get that. Well, it's pretty simple. There's not really some magic trick or anything. It's really just based on trend. Like, how did I know USD JPY was going to continue to move up this whole time when I was talking about it in the forecast? Well, it's simply because of the trend. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no secret indicator or anything else. There's really nothing else involved in that besides just looking at trend. That is, the trend is your friend until the ban at the end. I know that's a very popular saying, and it can get kind of cringe sometimes, but it's true. I would only be looking to trade with the trend. So yeah. Oh, you deleted your message. Okay. Can you please show US 30 and OIO? Oh, and oil. Yeah, we were just kind of looking at it, but we can definitely continue to look at it. So if you wanted to short 4-hour supplies in control, so we'd be on a 50-minute chart. I'm just not seeing a whole lot for potential confirmation. There is this trend line right here. So if you're looking to short day trades on US 30, I would just wait for this upward trend line on the 50-minute chart to be removed. And then at that point, I think looking to short the 50-minute would be maybe okay. Still not an incredible setup. So that's what I see on US 30. And then remember, as far as oil goes, we have the 4-hour and the 1-hour trend. But as far as your entry time frame, we did lose the momentum here on the 50-minute chart. If you look here, we had very strong 50-minute uptrend right here, and then this would have been a losing trade if you took that one. But at the end of the day, we have the overall momentum is up on oil on the lower time frames, but right now this little period of time right here, the momentum is down. And why do I need to see this momentum removed? First of all, this would have been a trading setup right here. This is, I'm not going to get into it, but that would have been a trading setup right there. I know it might seem a little crazy, but no, Starsky, no. You already asked that. No, I don't think selling on the 50-minute chart on oil is a good idea at all. But well, I kind of forget what I was getting into here, but why do I need to see this 15-minute trend continue before getting in long? Well, hopefully I can break this down as good as possible here. So if you look, let me just do this really quick. So if you look at these two charts, we have a 15-minute, or sorry, we have the 4-hour uptrend and the 1-hour uptrend. Now, obviously, it's possible that this 4-hour trend breaks and we start to trend down. But then you have the next question you have to ask yourself is, how would you know that that 4-hour trend is going to break? Well, the only way for a 4-hour trend to be removed, or sorry, the only way for a 4-hour trend to end, let me just, I don't know why I did this. It's kind of, okay. So the only way for a 4-hour trend to end is for the lower time frame trends to end. So why I'm looking and why I need this high to be removed is because in order for a 4-hour uptrend to turn sideways or downtrend is for the lower time frame trends to turn around. So basically, let me actually zoom in. Let me try to do something pretty good for you guys here. Let me just give me 1 second. So if I can actually go to replay, yeah, that'd be great. So at this point, we had a very strong 50-minute uptrend. I would say, yes, look for buys. I think it's, you know, decent. We have a 4-hour, 1-hour, 50-minute uptrend. But how would this trend start to change? Well, it would start to show on a 1-minute chart. So if you look here, we had a pretty strong 1-minute trend as well. And if you can draw some demand zones here, not really loving these demand zones, but there is demand right there. So then how that trend changed? Well, if you look on a 1-minute chart, where do I haven't seen this new replay function yet. Okay, here it is down here. So if you look here, the trend is still in play. We're kind of going sideways, right? But then all of a sudden, this 1-minute chart, the trend should start to change, right? So at that point, the trend is starting to change, and it's taking a little bit longer than I wanted. So at this point, the trend is changing, and then it's getting weaker. So at that point, the 50-minute chart trend is probably starting to change as well. We're actually contacting the trend line at that point. And then all of a sudden, the trend changes. We remove that trend line on the 1-minute chart. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm kind of all over the map here. How do I get out of this? Exit replay mode. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that this sideways action we're seeing could be the start of a new downtrend on this time frame. So we need to see evidence that the uptrend is going to continue. It's always the safest thing to be doing, in my opinion. I hate this. I hate that I keep clicking on that. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go live for here, guys, either. This is my first time live in a while, so I'm a little tired from doing it. I'm not going to lie. Is there any other markets you guys would like to look at? Let me know. But hopefully you guys are understanding kind of what I'm saying about with the trend. The first thing that I look at if I was looking at trading a pair, it would be about trend. That's always the first thing that I look at. When I first started trading supply and demand, there's even very, very popular YouTubers out there. Not very, very popular, but you know, semi-popular, I guess. And they are always talking about how, oh, there's a daily demand zone here from like 5 years ago, and it's coming back into it now, and it's like, geez, that demand zone, it's not really, unless it's involved in a higher time frame demand zone, it's pretty poor quality in my opinion. Derek, what's going on? It's been a while on live. Yeah, it has been. That's why it's not the best live stream I've ever done, that's for sure, but you know, I'm trying. So I used to trade like that, where I would just open a chart like this, right? I just open up a blank chart, and I would just look for, okay, there's a supply zone here, and then, you know, clearly the trend is down here, and then I would just go back Be like, okay, let's look at demand down here. Oh, okay, there's a demand zone right here or whatever, right? I'm not saying that's demand. I'm just making a point of like, there's a reason those demand zones fail, and it's just not a good idea. So it's all about understanding multiple time frame and, more importantly, multiple sequence analysis. And I'm not going to get into multiple sequence analysis too much, but for example, some of you may already know, on gold there was this daily demand from back here, right here. Look at this little rally demand zone on gold. And if you look, we reacted perfectly off of this demand zone right here. And I was in this trade. I simply set an order here, my stop loss below, and I ended up breaking even on this trade because I was looking for a huge move in gold. And then you might be asking, well, why would you take that trade, right? And I would disagree with this trade the majority of the time. Look at the trend, it's down. But the very, very important factor is that the higher time frames to the daily chart, which would be the 6 month, the 3 month, the 1 month, and even sometimes the 12-month chart, this sequence of time frames, the trend is up. So that's why I place an order at this daily demand that was inside a 3-month and weekly demand as well, I believe. So that is the difference, and that if you can understand that, your win rate will just completely go up, because then you have to ask, well, why did this daily demand work, and then why did this one not work, right? There's reasons for a lot of it, and obviously sometimes it's out of your control. It's not always going to work out, but Derek, I'm looking to go short on gold. Can you check it out on the 50-minute chart? Yeah, I wouldn't be looking for shorts on gold. I can tell you that right now, but we can definitely look at it. Can you check it out on the 50-minute chart? Let's take a look. So first thing I noticed here on gold, I think you just joined, but we did talk about how if you're looking to get short on gold, 83% of retail traders are short on gold right now. So that should be putting alarm bells off in your head, in my opinion. So as far as the 15-minute chart goes here, I mean, I'm not saying it won't work, Derek, but if I was going to short, if you were forcing me to take a short on gold, what I would need to see is this 15-minute demand removed. So if we can get something like this, and then there's 50-minute supply, that's when I would potentially short gold on the 50-minute chart. Other than that, I don't see any reason to be shorting gold, because if you start to look at the higher time frames, right, the momentum is clearly up. We don't really have any trends on the 1-hour chart or anything, but the momentum is clearly up. So I just don't like the idea of shorting. Not only that, we have higher time frame demand in control right now. Weekly demand is clearly in control. So shorting is just, I don't know. I just don't agree with it. I'm sorry. And clearly right now we are currently trying to break this daily downward trend line as well. And I personally think gold is going to have its day pretty soon. I am waiting for longs in gold. I'm not getting in long yet. But I mean, I'm not trying to say don't take the trade, Derek, at all. If you see something, take it based on your strategy. If you have a plan, take it based on your plan. I think that's completely fine. But gold is looking a little bit too strong for me right now to agree with getting in short. Okay. So like I said, if on that 15-minute chart, if you wanted to get in short, oh my God, you're saying the 5-minute. Jeez. It's going to be very similar on the 5-minute. I do apologize. I didn't really realize you said the 5-minute. My screen is kind of small. But yeah, it's basically everything I said about the 15-minute. It also applies to the 5-minute as well. I don't really see any reason to be shorting right now. Okay, well there is this 5-minute demand here. Same situation. I would at least wait for this 5-minute demand to be removed cleanly, not like a wick like this. I would need to see a candle, kind of close below. And at that point, I think looking for shorts is better. Still not the highest odds situation, in my opinion. I am thinking about wrapping this up soon, too, guys. I don't know. I didn't get too much sleep last night, so. And I didn't really want to. I don't want to go live for too long ever. obviously if I could get more support on YouTube and Patreon, then I would have no problem with doing that. But the full support just is not there just yet. So that's why I don't really do it anymore. And day trading is tough. There's a lot to see. I use IG daily FX sentiment, 75% bullish on gold. 75% bullish. So you're saying retail 75% long on gold? That's strange that it's that different. I like my FX book because I think it's the most popular one that the most people are on. So yeah, that's why I like that. That's why I like to use this one. I don't know. The sentiment is not always 100% right. I just like to view it, and it kind of, if it aligns with my multiple time frame and multiple sequence and trend analysis, then then it aligns with it, and then I like the idea of it. But that is pretty strange of IG daily FX. I just don't think that one is super popular. I don't know though. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. So at the end of the day, Derek, just trade your setup. If you see a setup, then trade it. I'm just giving you my personal opinion. Yeah, this is why I hate going live though. It could just be a lot of just waiting, and I don't know. If there's not like 100 people in here, then the chat can get kind of boring, right? But that's just the reality of it. So natural gas still pulling back here on the 50-minute chart. USD yen. Not really getting any confirmation here on USD yen. And what I'd be waiting for on longs on gold is something like this. So yes, the momentum is clearly up, but I want to see a clear trend with the peak, the valley, trend line. But at that point, looking for longs on like day trading time frames would be completely fine, in my opinion. I think that's what I'd be waiting for personally. Wow, and there actually was a trend line here. Didn't even realize that. So there is a 4-hour demand zone right here on gold. I did not even realize that. That's a pretty significant area of demand too. If price does pull back to that 4-hour demand, you could maybe look for longs in there. Do you do private teaching sessions? No, I do not. As far as the YouTube and Patreon membership goes, there's 3 options. The first option is you get the link to my chart like this. And then anytime, like I just drew this 4-hour demand zone, right, on my chart, and then all you need to do is hit the refresh button and I'll send you this chart link. And then at that point, which, wow, I guess my whole chart link is exposed, but whatever. Let's send out a new one. You get the chart link, and then at that point, all you need to do is hit refresh, and then this zone will appear on your chart. And then you could use that zone. That is the bronze membership. And then the second one, which is silver, which is the one that I always recommend. It's only $10 cap per month. It's everything you get from the previous one, which is the chart link. And then you get access to the private Discord group. You can get me to do custom chart analysis for you. There's a high probability trading solver, which is a very, very important thing in my opinion. And then also every Sunday we do private forecast live streams. And if you look here on my watch list, these are the markets that we go over during the private forecast live stream. And then obviously I can add any of these that you want me to. It can be any stock, it could be Tesla, it could be whatever. And I go over those in the private live stream, and then yeah. But I don't do teaching sessions or anything. We just have the private live streams. And then, obviously I will give out tips during those live streams, but I want to make it very clear I'm not a teacher. I'm not selling a course or anything. I mean, in the level 2 membership that I just mentioned, the silver membership, there are, I think it's about 10 videos for confirmation trade entries. They're just video lessons, but I am not a teacher. Can you share your thoughts on daily time frame for Euro USD? Sure. Yeah, so the Euro US dollar it's looking complicated. There was this daily demand here, but there really was no supply up here that removed this daily demand. So as far as this whole area goes, it's very, very confusing. So if you're confused, love, I'm confused. So yeah, I'm not scared to admit it either. I'm very confused. At the end of the day, we have weekly downtrends, higher time frame downtrends. So I'd want to be looking for shorts. The problem with it is this daily chart is looking very choppy right now. So who knows where this is going to go? And I don't really suspect to get a clear trend probably till next week on any of these pairs because of the midterm elections and everything. So I kind of suspect things to continue to be choppy. So as far as the euro goes, I am not seeing a whole lot. It's a very confusing time in the markets right now. But I am going to wrap this up pretty soon, guys. So one more time, if you guys have anything that you want me to look at before I wrap it up, please just let me know. And I'm going to post in the chat right now. If you guys want to join and get my zones and join the silver membership or whatever, that is a link to the YouTube channel, the YouTube membership right there. And they're basically the exact same. And this is the link to the Patreon membership. They're basically the exact same. I do believe on YouTube right now, if you were to join the YouTube membership, I'm pretty sure you would get, I think, 50% off your first month or something like that. I'm almost positive. I'm not 100%, but definitely check it out. So you'd be saving like 50%, and I mean, it's only $5 anyways or $10 anyways, so it's really nothing crazy. And they're basically the exact same memberships. You get everything you get is the exact same, except for on Patreon, you can get my call report spreadsheet if you sign up annually. If you make one annual payment, then you also can get 15% off on Patreon. So, but usually what people do is they join they join the monthly payment one, and they see if they like it, and then if they like it and they see value in it, then maybe they sign up annually. They save the 15%, and so they save 50% if they sign up annually, and then they also get the call report spreadsheet lifetime access, which is also very important. So I am going to wrap it up in about 10 minutes here, guys. If you have any questions about the membership or any charts at all, please don't hesitate to ask. But I am getting tired. And maybe I'll do this Wednesday as well. So any last minute questions, please get them in now. I was planning on going live for a couple hours, but I am exhausted, and I woke up a little later than I wanted to do this. So if you guys want me to come live on Wednesday, please write in the comments down below. Let me know. That's what YouTube's all about, ladies and gentlemen. And then obviously, if you become a YouTube member as well, you get like that a little badge next to your name and all that stuff as well. But there's a lot of good stuff. You also get access to the private Discord group as well, which I'm trying to be more active in. And obviously, the more people we have in there, the better it will be, because then there's just more people participating. All right, love, take care. Olivier, maybe check if Euro USD can go uptrend in short term. On what time frame? That's very, very important. Wednesday, you'll be live at what time? Around the same time, Helio. Probably maybe 8:30, the latest. I don't know. I'm not even sure if this one's gone pretty well. We have 28 people in here. That's pretty good. I mean, I do have 8,000 subscribers, so 28's technically bad, but I think that's just how YouTube works for whatever reason. So I'm happy with it. So Wednesday, yeah, I might go live. Yeah, minute 15. Just check if the Euro USD can go uptrend in short term. I'm pretty sure that the Euro USD 15-minute chart is in an uptrend. Yes, it is. So it already is in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart. So, yes, It is in an uptrend. As far as getting in long, I don't see any options here right now, really. What I'd be waiting for is for this high to be removed. And then if we can get 15-minute demand zones up here, then you could look to get in long. But as far as your question goes, maybe check if Euro USD can go an uptrend in short term. It is uptrending right now. Jeez, I keep doing that. And there's really not too much movement for a Monday. I've always said Mondays are usually super busy or sorry, super active or not active at all. And today it seems like it's not super active at all. I'm not sure if anybody trades natural gas, but there is this little 4-hour demand zone right here. It's pretty poor quality. But you could be looking for a potential 50-minute trade. Never mind. Disregard all that. Yeah, no problem. And maybe I'll have to start watching other YouTubers that are day trading live and stuff too. I don't know what they're. I don't know if they just focus on like one pair or whatever it is. That's the thing too, right? I don't even really day trade, so it's difficult for me. But I'm just applying my top-down analysis to day trading. Day trading is harder. I cannot stress that enough. Day trading is definitely harder than swing trading. For swing trading, it's very relaxed. I'm a pretty busy person, so that's why I don't day trade. That's one reason why I don't day trade. So that's why I like to swing trade. So for example, on natural gas. Natural gas is going to be on my watch list right this week. And here's why. So I'm going to mark it as red, and I'm actually going to move it to the top of my list because we have a weekly supply zone in control right now. So I want to be looking for shorts. Now, as far as looking for shorts go, I could basically not look. Well, I always look at my phone anyways because I'm tracking the zones for the members. But I could, if I didn't have a YouTube channel or whatever, I could basically not look at my phone for probably like 3 days, and I probably wouldn't even miss this trade if something like this took place. And to me, that's just very valuable, right? Because I like to go golfing. I like to hang out with friends. I like to play poker, whether it's with my buddies or at the casino. So you can't really do that. You can't really live your life if you are day trading. That's why I basically don't recommend anybody to day trade. But obviously, you guys are like to day trade, and that's fine. It just doesn't suit my personality. So that's why I definitely struggled to go live on here the last time I was doing it. Because if you guys weren't around, I was going live for quite a bit before. I'm going to wrap it up in a few minutes here. So any last minute questions, get them in. Hopefully we can get some decent setups this upcoming week. The main ones I'm waiting on are gold, oil. I am kicking myself in the butt for not taking this long trade down here. I am very upset with myself, but it happens, and you just got to learn to get over it. So what I'm watching for, as far as I don't know if anybody swing trades here, but I'm waiting for. I'm really looking at natural gas, oil, and gold. The reason I like oil is because if you look on the higher time frames for swing trading, the profit margin is pretty high. It's at least to 105 at this weekly supply. So if we can get in long, I think that the profit margin is very, very high. And gold I like based on my macro chart analysis, which is my 12-month chart would be up here. 6-month would be over here. 3-month would be over here, and then this would be my monthly chart. I have a whole chart link like that, and based on what I'm seeing right here, gold is looking very bullish. I hate when I see people. I'm a huge gold bug. I love gold. I believe gold will have its day, and gold will be very, very valuable in the future, in my opinion. And I hate when people say, "Oh, gold's not performing well," and I get it. If you look at this, if you look at these charts. The weekly chart, the daily chart, gold is not performing well. I would agree. But in my opinion, there's the idea of short term and long term. It's all in my opinion, this whole chart layout weekly and daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, it's all really, really short term in my opinion. But if you look at the macro charts, gold is on an uptrend and it's looking very, very strong and healthy too. Gold didn't just shoot up like this, like Bitcoin. It's on a very clean trend like that. So that's why I like gold, and that's why I'm waiting for longs on gold. A very aggressive entry long would be this 4 hour demand. You could potentially get in long here on gold at this 4 hour demand to get in long earlier than most, and I wouldn't really disagree with it. It's just aggressive. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'm gonna wrap this up here, guys. So remember, if you guys want my daily chart analysis, or if you want the private live streams, private discords, and the confirmation trading video series, check out the membership links in the description down below. I also posted them in the comments, so definitely check that out. It helps support the channel. And you know, you can get value out of it too. I wanted to make sure if I ever had a Patreon or a YouTube membership that, you know, I would be getting money from it, and then you guys would be getting equal value to it as well. So hopefully you guys check that out. We much appreciate it and could definitely help you with your trading. And I will see you guys on Wednesday potentially. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to go live on Wednesday because I don't know how this one went, but maybe on Wednesday. Take care. Cheers.